Welcome to Office Yoga. We are going pelvis today. So we worked on hips last week, and today we're going to work on the pelvis. And the pelvis is really the cup part of the hip joint. So if this is the ball that's coming off the femur, the long leg bone, the pelvis forms the cup of the hip joint. Think of the pelvis, I'm going to give you a visual here, is a bowl. So this is your hip bones up here that we use colloquially, but really anatomically, this is your hip joint. This is actually the top of your pelvis, and you can actually find those bony protuberances if you kind of feel with your hands. Maybe put your hands on your hips. This is the top of your pelvis. And from here, you can find like two pelvic points. They're called the ASIS, or anterior superior iliac spine. We're just going to call them the hip points. And you can find them by pretending like your hands are going in pockets. And as your hands go in pockets, you're going to find two bony prominences. And these are, we'll call them our pelvic points, our hip points. And just knowing that our hip joint's actually below that, because we're going to use this throughout the practice today. Think of your pelvis as a bowl, and we sit a lot during the day. So when we sit a lot during the day, when we stand up, what happens is our bowl of the pelvis actually tilts anteriorly. So this is the rim of your pelvis. So we tend to stand like this with a sway back because our hip flexors right here are tight. If we can release these hip flexors, we can bring the bowl of the pelvis back up so it's not spilling. So think of your pelvis as a bowl, and you don't want it spilling forward and you don't want it spilling back. So most of us sit with an anterior tilted pelvis, so it's tilted forward like this. Some of us naturally have a posterior tilted pelvis like this, but we want is somewhere in between. Think of this as like a pot of gold, and you don't want to tip it forward or backward. You want to keep it neutral. So that's what we're going to work on today. So think about this as the bowl of the pelvis. And if you can, grab a small pillow, and we're going to start by standing. And if you don't have a small pillow, no worries. We can just imagine there's a pillow there, and we're going to place this right between the pillow, like right above our knee joint, between our legs here. And I'm going to stand to the side so you can see me. So we're going to work on finding this pelvis and finding the bowl of the pelvis so that it's not tilted. So find those bony prominences and pull them up. And you can pull them up by engaging the glute muscles. So squeeze that pillow together, feel the glute muscles wrap down around the back. And as you do that, your bowl will tilt up. So this is me tilted forward, and this is me pulling my hip points up, or my pelvic bowl up. So again, we don't want to sit like this with a sway back. We want to pull the hips up. And you can do that by engaging your glute muscles, wrapping them down, and pulling the legs together. And think about the triple S. So the skull and the scapula back here and the sacrum all being in one line. And that's kind of how we want to think about posture in the bowl of the pelvis, because really your pelvis is what connects the energy from the ground all the way through your body. So if it's tilted, you're already behind the starting line. You want to start at the starting line. So, and I want to mention one more thing, is that if you find that your hip points are right at the points of the bowl of the pelvis, and scoot them back. So think about backing them up and stacking them up along this line, like a plumb line, so they're in line with this part of the ankle. So back it up, stack it up, so that your hip point here is in line with this point on your ankle. So a lot of us stand like this, back it up, stack it up, and that will get you in correct position. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to start with our breath as an energizing breath. So you can stand in front of your chair and breathe in 3 quick inhales and then an exhale. So it goes like this. So 3 quick inhales in and then an exhale. Try it one more time. So 1, 2, 3 in and then exhale. 1, 2, 3 in and exhale. What this is an energizing breath. So if you're sitting at your desk and you feel kind of slouchy and sluggish, you can use this energizing breath, and you can even add hand motions with it. So here we go. So we're going to go in, and then out. In, 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 out. So up, side, up, out. Exhale. Up, side, up, bend down, exhale. One more time. Up, side, up, bend down, exhale. So that's a fun, energizing breath. I actually do that in my kid yoga classes, and they love it. It gets them all energized and ready to go. So go ahead and find yourself at the edge of your seat. Wiggle your sit bones to the edge of the chair. Ground through your feet. Pull your belly to spine and think about that bowl of the pelvis. In fact, I'm going to grab it and show you. So as we're sitting here, think about this bowl of the pelvis. So we don't want it tilted like this. We want it pull belly to spine so we don't tilt out that pot of gold, okay? Okay, from here, just breathing in and out through our noses. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale out through your mouth. Very good. Now this time, just breathe in and out of your nose. Grounding yourself, centering yourself, pulling belly to spine, thinking about your ears being over your shoulders. Now let's exhale our head to the left. Inhale forward. Exhale right. Inhale forward. Exhale left. Inhale forward. Exhale right. Inhale forward. Now we're going to do a little bit of a different lateral stretch. So take your hands and flip them behind your right glute. So they're coming to your right glute muscles. They don't have to be interlocked. They can just be on top of one another. So send them to the right glute behind you and tilt your head to the left and feel a release there. Inhale, center. Now take your hands over to the left glute so they're on top of one another. They don't have to be interlaced and they certainly don't need to be locked. So don't lock out your elbows. Keep your elbows bent and bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Exhale. Inhale, center. Bring your hands to the right and bring your head, left ear to left shoulder. And if you want to, you can extend the right hand out with the palm facing to the floor and keeping the left hand behind on that right glute. Good job. Now take the hands back on top of one another and take them over to the left glute area. And send your right ear to your right shoulder and bring your left arm down. So it's like in a stop sign to the floor. Feel a little more lateral stretch here. Great work. And bringing your hands back behind your back, sitting up tall, elbows bent, and bring them forward. And we're just going to go ahead and start with some hand exercises. You can make a fist and then flare them out like a star. Fist, flare, fist, flare, fist, flare. And from there, take pinky and fan it down, and then start with index and fan it back. So just alternating, fanning out your hands. Maybe you look at them when they fan, as adding that visual feedback component. And now let's make some fists and go ahead and rotate circles at the wrist joint. And then rotate them the other way. Just waking up at our wrists. They sit in flexion a lot during the day. So we're just waking them up, giving them some much needed attention. And take your left palm out and pull those fingers back with your right hand with your elbow extended. Good job. And take your right palm out like a stop sign and pull those fingers back. Great work. Now let's try to open up the shoulders with alternating shoulder rolls. So remember, thinking about that good posture, pulling belly to spine, your crown of the head is light. It feels really light so that you feel length in your spine. You're pulling your rib cage away from the bowl of the pelvis and alternating shoulder rolls. And remember, we try and initiate this movement through the shoulder blades or through the scapula. So not just your deltoids or not just the muscles of the tops of your arm bones, but using your shoulder blades to move that shoulders back, initiating the movement from your shoulder blades. And then adding to this, taking your fingers on top of the shoulder joint and propelling back. So you're bent at the elbow and you're just alternating, propelling back. Good job. And let's do that 2 more times. Good work. From here, placing your hands on your thighs, we're going to think about the pelvis, so the bowl of the pelvis. So pull that belly to spine. You may already be sinking back and creating that sway back. So find those hip points, pull them back up. Tall spine, pull the hip points back up. Sitting tall, and from here, we're going to inhale back towards the left and circle around and come back forward. So we're just making circles with our tailbone grounded, so our pelvis is grounded, and we're making circles. So when we're doing this, we're moving the pelvis, the cup of the pelvis, over the femur bone. And you can even take your second and third fingers and place them in that hip joint to help with this movement. Let's go the other way. So let's just switch directions. Really ground through your feet, tailbone down. Think about the bowl of the pelvis being stable, and it's not really tipping. It's just rotating around, making big circles. Let's do that 2 more times. Great job. Hand back center. From here, inhale the arms forward and up to make a tall V. Exhale down. Inhale the arms forward and up to make a tall V. Exhale down. Inhale the arms forward and up. Reach up and exhale down. From here, we're going to go to an archer pose. So bend your left elbow, pull it back like you're like you have an arrow, bow and arrow, and extend that right arm and look over those right fingers. Spread the right fingers wide and open them as you pull back, and breathe into this, in and out through your nose. One more breath. And come back center, and let's go the other way. So we extend out the left finger, spread them out wide as you pull back with your right elbow, like you're an archer, like you're pulling back the bow and the arrow, reaching for the left side of the room, stretching out those fingers wide, breathing through this motion, and let's do it again. So our fingers spread wide towards the right as we pull back with our left elbow. Think about that tall spine, and let's go the other way. Looking out over the left, pulling back with that right elbow, really extending that arm, feeling length in this pose. Great work. From here, let's take the right arm up. Look at that right arm, leading with your thumb, and flip it at the top so you lead with your pinky and come back down. So inhale the right hand and arm up, leading with the thumb. When you come to the top, flip it and lead with your pinky. One more time. Lead with the right thumb coming all the way up, flip at the top, and lead with your pinky. And as you come down to the right side, lean into that right palm. Lift the left arm up, creating length, up, 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 and then over. And you may need to bend that right elbow back to create length. Inhale it back up and hands back to your thighs. And let's do it with the other hand this time. So remembering sitting up tall, let's lead with our left thumb as the hand comes up, leading with that left thumb. Flip the hand, lead with the pinky as you come back down. Inhale up, leading with the thumb at the top, flip it, and then exhale, lead with your pinky. Inhale, lead with the thumb, flip it, really think about mobilizing through the scapula as you do this, and bring it back down, allowing that left palm to rest on the side of your chair, bringing the right hand up to the sky, reach, 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 and bend it over. Oh, such a good side stretch. Great work. From here, we're going to do that bear hug. So taking our hands out in front of us, pretend like you're hugging a big bear, and then alternate, moving your arms forward. So you're kind of scrubbing the back ribs with your scapula as you alternate, sending the arm forward. Just think of it like a bear scrub. You know how a bear likes to scrub his back against a tree and kind of scrub it out. That's the same thing we're doing, just alternating here. And do that 2 more times, and bring the arms down. Bring the right arm up to the sky so the fingers are flared, they're out like a fan. Bring the left arm behind you, the left hand behind you, excuse me, and place it on the sacrum. So here's my sacrum here. It's really at the base of my spine. From here, we're going to extend the right arm, reach, 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 make a fist like it's a lance. As you reach for the sky, Great work. Bring that down. Now bring the left hand up to the sky. Take the right hand behind your back into that sacrum area. So it's the small of your back right here. It's really at the base of the spine. Now reach the left arm up, 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 allowing that scapula to rise. Make your hand into a fist. Feel the strength in this pose and release it. Great work. We're going to move on to some legs now. So let's just start with our marching here. Take the second and third finger into the hip joint, right where the femur meets the bowl of the pelvis. So the femur bone and the pelvis come together to make the hip joint. From here, as you lift your left knee up, send your right arm up. So it's the opposite. Now let's change. Right knee up, left arm up. So just alternating this. Feel like an exaggerated marching here, pulling belly to spine, really tall in the spine. Think about a lightness in your head. You may feel some real strength with this pose. It feels really good to move through all the motions here, all the ranges that your body can make, moving it all through the potential that your body has. We get stuck in that forward sitting position. So this should feel really good to stretch it out. Let's do it 2 more times. Great job. Hands on your thighs. Let's come up to standing. So remember, ground through your feet and recruit your glute muscles. So really use and engage your glute muscles to come all the way up to standing, pulling belly to spine. Really think about the bowl of the pelvis as you come up to standing. Remember, we don't want it tilted down here. We want to pull it up and level the bowl of the pelvis. And come to your chair. I'm going to come to the side so you can see me and place your hands on the chair. So we're in this quadruped position here. Let's go ahead and bend your knees so that your spine stays long. So keeping the head in line with spine. So you don't want it tipped up or tipped down. You want to keep it in line with your spine. Let's go ahead and slide your left leg back. So I'm a mirror image of you, and I'm going to scoot back so you guys can see me. Slide your left leg back. Really recruit the glute muscle. Pull belly to spine. Now think about the bowl of the pelvis. So remember those 2 hip points. You don't want to tilt it to the side either way. You want to keep them level to the ground. Now, if this feels stable and good to you, go ahead and extend out the right hand. Fanning the right hand out. Pulling belly to spine. Great work. Bring the hand back to the chair and the leg back down. This time, take your right leg, slide it back. Remember the bowl of the pelvis, let's not tip into it. Let's keep it level to the ground. And let's extend our left arm out, fanning it out. This is also called a bird dog pose. And bring the hand back to the chair. Let's do that again. So send your left leg back and your right arm forward, pulling belly to spine. And bring it back center. Extend the right leg back and the left arm forward. I'm trying to do a mirror image of y'all. And just move with your breath. So inhale, extend out. Exhale, bring it back in. Other side. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, bring it back in. 2 more. Inhale, extend it out. Exhale, bring it back in. 1 more. Inhale, extend it out. Exhale, bring it back in and come up to standing. Good job. And maybe you just tick-tock the hips back and forth to release right here. Remembering the bowl of the pelvis, keeping it level. We're going to add a little sun salutation lunge to this. I'm going to walk you through this and I'm a mirror image of you. But if you get confused with the left, right, I certainly do. Just do the opposite when I say left or right, whatever leg you happen to be on. Okay, so inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, plant the hands on the chair. Step the left leg back. So you have your left leg back. You're like in a lunge position. So you're up on the ball of the back foot. Your left leg is back. Now bend your back knee. As you bend your back knee, you can come all the way down to the ground if that feels comfortable to you. You're in a low lunge. Or you can stay up, but just make sure you keep a bend in the back knee. From here, if it feels comfortable to you, lift one hand and in the other, if that feels comfortable, pulling that hip bone up by engaging the glute muscle, the back glute muscle. Good job. Plant your hands on the chair. Now step the foot back and pull back into a half down dog. So really bend through the knees, hinge through the hips, lengthen the spine. Great job. Now step that left leg back forward. So you're coming back forward now and you're in a high lunge up on the ball of the back foot. Bend the back knee. So bend it down. You can stay here, or if you want, you can take it all the way to the ground into a low lunge. Extend the arms up if that feels available to you, or you can do one at a time, whatever feels more comfortable to you. But engage the glute of the back leg to pull the hip forward and feel a release there. And hands come back to the chair, step forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. We're going to do the other side. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips, bend the knees, plant the hands on the chair. Step the right leg back this time. So you're in a high lunge, you're up on the ball of your back foot. From here, bend the back knee, and if it feels available to you, you can go ahead and ground that back knee. Inhale, the arms up. You can do it one at a time, or you can keep them anchored on the chair. Exhale, plant your hands on the chair seat and step back into a half down dog. Really hinge at the hips, bend the knees, and create length in that spine. Great work. From here, step that right leg back forward in front. So you're bringing it back towards the chair. You're up on the ball of the left foot here. So you're in a high lunge. If you want to, bend the back knee, or sorry, it will be your front knee. So it's going to be your left knee, and ground it down. And if it's available to you, inhale the arms up. Exhale, plant the hands onto the chair and step forward. Inhale all the way up. Good job. That's a tough lunge series, but you can always make it more accessible by not grounding the knee into the ground, because sometimes that doesn't feel comfortable, so you can always hover it. All right, we're going to go back to our chair, and from here, we're going to go to some one-legged standing poses. Let's see. It may be easiest for you to stand behind your chair and to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a hip lift, L-I-S-T. So your standing leg, or your right leg that's closest to the back of the chair, really engage that glute and lift it up. So even find that hip point and think about pulling it up by engaging that left glute. Think about a puff of air being there in that hip joint. That puff of air kind of creates an awareness or a sort of a mental picture of what it should feel like when you engage the muscles around the hip joint. From here, let's swing the left leg forward and back. So you're swinging it forward and back like a pendulum, but you're keeping the bowl of the pelvis level. So don't rock in it with your pelvis. You want to keep the pelvis level, and maybe you create that awareness by taking your second and third finger on the top of the hip point on the left side, so you can feel that bowl of the pelvis and if it's tipping. From here, let's go out to the side and then forward, to the side, then forward, side and forward. So this is just a pendulum swing. Really engage the muscles on the right glute. Think about that puff of air, so you come up high on that right side, so you can really create that arc with the pendulum, and bring it back down. From here, let's exhale, bring the left knee up, inhale down, exhale, bring the left leg to the side and bring it back down. Exhale, bring the knee up, root the tailbone down, pull belly to spine. Don't let the bowl of the pelvis tip. Bring it back down and then out to the side. Inhale down. Exhale, bring the knee up, inhale down. Exhale, leg to the left side and bring it back down. One more time. Exhale, knee up. Remember, think about the right glute, that puff of air. Really engage it here. Bring it back down and bring the left leg out to the side. Great work. And then maybe you tick-tock back and forth. Let's go to the other side. Okay, I'm just going to switch my chair, but you will be thinking about standing on your left leg, and we're going to move the right leg. So again, think about, let me get my bowl. Think about the bowl of the pelvis. So really engage this left glute muscle, because this is the muscle that is maintaining the one-legged stance pose. Think about a puff of air being here. You don't want to tilt your pelvis forward. Pull it up so that it's level. You don't want to tilt it here. Engage the glute, puff of air. Think about the muscles and the glute muscles, wrapping them down. And let's take our right leg forward and back. So just swinging like a pendulum. I'm taking my second and third finger right here at my right hip joint to help me contain my bowl of the pelvis. Pull it together, gather it together, draw it together. Think about the two hip points and energetically pulling them together as you swing your leg forward and back. And remember, you don't want to move with it like this. You want to keep the bowl of the pelvis stable. So it's really not moving at all. It's just your leg that's moving within that joint. Now take it out to the side and forward, out to the right and forward, out to the side and forward. Just waking up the hip joint, adding some nutritious movement here. Good job. One more time, out to the side. Now bring it back to standing. So your legs are about hip width apart. Remember, engage that left glute again, because that's a standing leg that we want that puff of air in. Pull that hip point up. Maybe wake it up and go ahead and lift the right knee into the chest or into the belly. Take it down and then out to the side. Inhale it back center. Exhale, bring the knee up. Inhale, down. Exhale, out to the side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, bring the knee up. Inhale, down. Exhale to the side. One more time. Now remember to engage that glute muscle on the left side. Don't let it sleep on you. Let's just do one more. Knee up into the belly and down. Exhale to the right. Inhale, back center. Great work. So that's a really tough to control that movement by not letting that pelvis spill forward or back. That's a really tough thing to do, to really focus on one leg and keep that hip joint together and nutritious and engage with the muscles that surround the hip joint. And think about it hugging the hip joint. We're going to do one more thing. So I'm going to come to the side. You can come back behind your chair and flip your left foot under. So see how my foot is flipped under? So the top of my foot is actually like facing the ground. So I flip my foot under, and so my left foot is flipped under, and my right hand is going to come up to the sky. Really reach through that right hand as your foot is flipped under. Engage the glute, pulling belly to spine. This is a standing locust pose. Really feel the length in this pose. Really engage all the muscles that pull the pelvis together, keeping the hip points up so they're not tilted back, and release. Great work. So now I'm going to send my right leg back, flip it under. So my foot's just flipped under, my toes are facing the floor, and lift my left arm up to the sky. So they're opposite. So we're doing a standing locust. Really engage through the hand that's up and reach for the sky. Engage the glute, pull belly to spine here. Feel the strength in this pose. It feels lovely. Length, length, length. Just think of growing, 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 and release. Good job. And come back behind your chair here. And let's just do some lunges, some skater lunges. So we're sitting back, hinging at the hip. I'm going to come to the side so you can see me. So instead of rounding through my back, I'm sitting back and hinging at my hip. Skater lunges side to side. Good work. Pulling belly to spine. As you switch back and forth on the legs, as you go back and forth, alternating bending knees, think about pushing off the pinky edge of your foot that's pushing off and going to the other side. So really think about the pinky edge of the foot. Good job. And two more. Great work. We're going to do one last thing, and then we'll be all done for today. I'm going to turn my chair. So coming behind your chair, you're going to grab the top of your chair and pull belly to spine. Remember, we've really worked hard on this today. So thinking about the bowl of the pelvis and lifting it up. So we don't want the sway back. We want to pull it up, allowing your hands to rest on the chair. Let's alternate side leg lifts. So really think about this movement. Really make a mental note to think about what you're doing here. As you lift your left leg out to the side, you're engaging your right glute muscle and come back down. As you lift your right leg out to the side, you're engaging your left glute muscle and pulling the bowl of the pelvis up. So really think about with intention in this movement. Great job. Let's do 2 more on each side. And last one on each side. Great job. Excellent work. And coming back to your chair, go ahead and sit in your chair by hinging your hips back and finding your seat with your hands. And from here, we're going to go ahead and take it all the way down. I'm going to turn so you can see me, but we're going to allow our chest to rest on our thighs, hinging at our hips, sitting back, and allowing our head to drop. So just feel the release in this pose and allow yourself to just feel like all the tension, all the stress is just coming out the top of your head and falling out to the floor and going away, erasing that stress, letting it go, releasing it. And if you want to, you can even nod your head back and forth, just shaking no, back and forth, and maybe you nod yes, up and down, whatever feels good to you. And take your hands and walk back up your shins, assist in this movement. We really took our head below our heart, so we have to be careful when we come back up. And from here, sitting tall one last time. Inhale, take a deep breath in, and exhale, hands to heart center. I'm going to leave y'all with a quote for the day, and I really appreciate your participation thinking about the bowl of the pelvis. So as you go throughout the day, find yourself when you're standing or sitting to make sure you don't have that sway back forward or too far tucked. You want the bowl of the pelvis stable. So keep it level. Find those hip points and keep them level. This is what I'm going to share with y'all today. Turn your face to the sun and let the shadows fall behind you. So as you continue through the day, just remember to bring positive energy into your day, leave the shadows behind, and just keep moving forward. And I really so appreciate each and every one of you. And we will work on the pelvis again later this week. And y'all have a great day. Thank y'all so much. Take care.